What's up, guys? We're here today with our Week 10 match of the PGBL, and today we'll be taking on the New Jersey Brobats and their coach, Root. And as you can see, we have a new member of our team. It's the Type Null. I've never used it this whole league, and I figure, you know what, I want to bring something different for the Week 10 battle, which is, the final week of the regular season. But, of course, we also have our Mega Charizard X, Manaphy, Weavile, Cobalion, and Mew. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Hopefully the storm has stopped, so we won't be hearing any thunder in the background. Jump into this, get my pin ready, and see what my opponent wants to bring. Hopefully nothing too crazy or the things I was fearing. We see the Mega Beedrill, Kartana, Zygarde 10% form, Volcanion, Lantern, which I assume is to stop my Manaphy from just surfing everything. And then we see the Gastrodon, so couple huge threats, stuff I was kind of fearing. Really glad they didn't bring the... what's that thing's name? I can't think of it off the top of my head. I can't think of it right now, but go ahead and write down my opponent's team. Mega Beedrill, Kartana, let's see, Zygarde, Volcanion, Lantern, and Gastrodon. So, looking at this, my opponent could very much potentially lead with their Mega Beedrill. So, with that knowledge, I kind of want to just lead Type Null. Honestly. Definitely afraid of the Mega Beedrill and Kartana. They could wreck my team. Lantern kind of stops Manaphy. I'm going to assume it's a water absorb set. And then of course Gastrodon kind of stops Charizard, but you see Zygarde. So it's the battle of the dogs. We could potentially see a glare here, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm actually just going to set up a Swords Dance because Type Null's already slow, and I'm not the Swords Dance Flame Charge set. I'm actually just running Return. Punishment. I was running Punishment for the Pokemon's name I can't think of. It's Lunala, Solgaleo, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I was running Punishment for that in case it wanted to do some Calm Mind shenanigans, and then of course I have Toxic on it. I don't know what my opponent's wanting to go for here. I'm actually looking up that Pokemon's name because I feel stupid that I can't remember it. But I'm also pretty tired. Necrozma, how could I forget that? Okay, my opponent withdraws. As we get our Swords Dance up, there's Ryan Reynolds. I am okay with that. I wonder if this thing is specially defensive or physically defensive. About to find out as I go for a return. Could see a Toxic as we do. And that is fine. I'm actually just going to start punching holes in my opponent's team with this. So definitely not going to live another one. As I'm just going to straight up go for another return. If we could get rid of this thing early, that would be amazing. which my opponent's kind of put in that position right now of something's gotta take the hit. So we could see a volt switch here into something, unless my opponent just straight wants to let this thing go down, which I am actually perfectly fine with. A lot of my mods, I actually don't really have a set like special wall on this team. I was gonna make it type null, but I decided against it with things like Kartana, which I'm surprised hasn't come in yet, but we could potentially see in the next turn. Or Volcarona. There's quite a few mons I'd like to just see come in right now. But I'm kind of glad I led with type null because it's just a bulky mon that has a lot of power to it. And I'm not even max attack either. So that was a nice little chunk of damage. So we see my opponent withdraws. I'm going to go for the volt switch. Let's see what they bring in, because nothing really wants to take a stab return at +2. Maybe Volcanion if it is invested in a lot of physical defense. Or Gastrodon. But I think, I was looking at the standings, and I think, if I remember right, I'm actually at the top of the East Coast. We see the Kartana. I think this thing's going to eat the return pretty well. Yep. But I'm in a position where I don't really know what I want to do. Could go out to Mew. I really wish. I'm actually just going to go out to Mew, because we could potentially see a Sacred Sword here. Smart Strike is very possible. If that's the case, I'll just go out to Weavile and hit this thing with a Ice Punch, take it out real quick, or my opponent could switch either way. I could actually go for knockoff if I was on Weavile. I also need to find some time to get my Stealth Rock set up. I'm actually running Rockinium Z on my Cobalion with Stone Edge, so if we see that Volcanion come in, that's going to be my way of dealing with it. My opponent actually double switches to Cindy. I am okay with this, because I have Energy Ball on my Mew. Perfectly okay with this. My opponent may think that I have Ice Beam or something. I really hope my opponent stays in. If I could get rid of this thing, I would be happy. Because it's just one of the two mons that kind of stops my Charizard from sweeping. This and Volcanion being the two. But as I said, I was looking at the East Coast standings and I'm at the top. I don't know how they're going to do playoffs, but I'm at the top of East Coast, but not of West Coast. So, and there goes my sound. Don't know what was up with that. Love it when it messes up. But, I don't know how they're going to run playoffs. If they're just going to have, like, the top from both sides go. There's our Energy Ball. Takes the Cindy right out. I am okay with that. Huge threat down. Almost 8 minutes into the game and the first mon just went down, so This is definitely going to be a uphill battle. We see Beaver, okay. I'd like to think that we're going to see a U-turn here. And I'm not too sure. But on the event my opponent doesn't switch out, I'm actually just going to stay in because I don't have anything in particular for the rest of my opponent's team. My opponent doesn't have a Stealth Rocker, so Charizard doesn't really have to worry about that. Unless Zygarde Dog Form gets Stealth Rocks, and if it does, I don't really know about it. So, but my opponent could be predicting something. I mean, if I were my opponent, I would U-turn and get the switch initiative, but in the end, I think I get that. If I get KO'd right here, we do see the U-turn. That's probably going to take me out. I do have some defense investment. Definitely not enough. So we're actually just going to get switch initiative here. So that worked out in my favor. I sacked Mew off for that. Because whatever my opponent wants to bring in, I can just start sweeping or anything like that. You see Ryan Reynolds. They get their leftovers, so they're about right at the 50% mark. And I'm pretty free to switch in here into Charizard. And I'm actually just gonna Earthquake. And we get rid of this thing, so Manaphy is in a pretty good position right now, besides the Volcarona with its Volcanion. I always get those two mixed up. And the sad thing is, I don't really take Steam Eruptions all too well, so I may be able to live one unless my opponent specs. And that really wouldn't put me in a good enough position to survive anything. And I kind of want to keep Charizard around. I do and I don't. Well, we could see Zydoge, and that would, which we do. Outrage is very much a possibility here, or 1,000 arrows. I'm not really sure. I'm actually just gonna go out to my type null and take whatever this thing wants to go for. As we actually see my opponent stayed in 1,000 arrows. Okay. I don't think we can take another one of those. I'm just gonna go for a U-turn right here. We don't. Okay. But we are in a pretty good position, I think, to just go out into Weavile. I'm just gonna go for knockoff. Ice type move is super obvious here. Write down 1,000 arrows for my opponent's Mon. Normally I say Weavile on the back, but in this case I wanted to have him right here. My opponent could be banded or scarfed. I'm wondering that right now. Withdraws, okay. We see Larry, which is the Volcanion, and I'm glad I went for knockoff. Choice Specs is gone. That is perfect. I think I'm in a pretty good position to go out to Manaphy right now. Steam Eruption. Don't take that as well as I wanted, but we don't get the burn, so I'm thankful for that. I'm just gonna go for a Tail Glow here. I was kind of thinking my opponent would be Specs because Specs Steam Eruption does take out Charizard X in one hit. But I'm thinking Tail Glow, Neutral, Energy Ball should do a lot to this Mon. The only thing that sucks is I'm max HP, max defense, because my opponent has so many defensive, or physically attacking Mons besides this one, which, you know, I resist both of its stabs. I wanted to be able to live hits, and then Tail Glow kind of sets me up to be okay with that. And I get my Tail Glow up right here. Goes for Sludge Wave, okay. Hopefully Energy Ball can do a lot or take it out. One of the two. Takes it out. I am okay with that. Now we are free to surf. If I even get an opportunity to surf. Probably going to see the Kartana here. And this is one of those situations where I wish I would have brought Gudra. But they could have easily predicted that and went for Smart Strike. So it's a losing battle either way. We see Beeva, okay. I'm just gonna go for a Surf. Goes for Fell Stinger. We lived that, okay. I'm glad I went with max defense. That definitely paid off. And honestly, I think Weavile can just clean up this game. There's Kartana. I'm just gonna go for an Ice Beam. Goes for Leaf Blade. That's fine, Manaphy. You did the work. Just gonna go for Ice Punch in the Ice Shard. So here's a good question. Well, I outspeed, so we're fine. Just gonna go for knockoff right here. So my opponent's not choiced. But looking at that damage though, I think Ice Shard would be a roll, and that's just way too risky. And it's not worth the risk anyways if I know I'm gonna outspeed. Unless it's a speed tie. In which case I could be in a lot of trouble. It was a speed tie. Are you serious? Is this really happening right now? Alright. I have to be able to live whatever this thing wants to go for. And I have to go for a Dragon Dance. I can't believe that actually happened. I wish I would have went for Ice Shard. That speed tie right there might have cost me the game. I'm really hoping that isn't the case, but I mean, my opponent has Sacred Sword, and that could take me out. And even then, it's a matter of, I mean, frustration. We live, okay. Gonna go for that Fire Punch. And now it's honestly really a matter of what my opponent's Zygarde set is. If it's Choice Scarf, pretty sure they want it. Not Choice Scarf. If there's Focus Sash, they're not. Whew, that was a close call. I thought we were going to lose it after we lost that speed tie with Weavile, but good game to my opponent. That was a really close match. That could have gone so many ways. If my Charizard would have dropped, I would have been doomed. I definitely would have been doomed because I only had Cobalion in the back, and I really didn't have anything to deal with Zygarde. But anyways, that was our Week 10 match. I don't know how playoffs are going to work out. I know I'm not at the top, but I'm definitely at the top of the East Coast side. And I don't know how they're going to do playoffs. I'll keep you guys updated. Follow me on Twitter if you don't already, and I'll post that information once I find out. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If this is the end of the season, thank you guys so much for the support. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the channel. And I'm definitely excited for what goes on from here. And I'm speaking in a sense of if we don't make it to playoffs, but I'm pretty sure we did. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here and quit rambling. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Wi-Fi battles, and I will see you guys later.